God has been speaking a lot to us about our walks, about how we are before Him, and I was going to share tonight from 1 Peter 5, and he gives us some very clear directions here. Verse 6, 1 Peter 5:6. I'll be reading from the Amplified. Therefore, humble yourselves, lower yourselves in your own estimation, under the mighty hand of God, that in due time He may exalt you, casting the whole of your care, all your anxieties, all of your worries, all your concerns, once and for all on Him. For He cares for you affectionately and cares about you watchfully. Be well balanced, temperate, sober in mind, be vigilant and cautious at all times. For that enemy of yours, the devil, roams about like a lion, roaring in fierce hunger, seeking someone to seize upon and devour. Lord, I thank you for your word, and I thank you we're getting a more complete understanding and awareness even this night. Today, worldwide, all the way to the White House, pride is rampant. Arrogance is, very, very strong. And people wonder why they have some of the challenges they have. It's because they've got an exceedingly high estimation of themselves. And God says, if you're going to walk with me, humble yourselves. Lower yourselves in your own estimation, under the mighty hand of God, in time He may exalt you. You know, it's like we're running a race, but we're not to be short of breath if we're running it in God. So we're not completing it. We're not there, because if we would be, we'd be there. We wouldn't be here. And, people don't realize we got to run the race all the way to the end. Amen. It does not matter how you start. It does not matter what happens in between. Sure, it does matter, but it matters greatest how we finish, and if we finish. And we have to not give up. We have to press in and follow through. And, today, with jobs, others of you know this, you put your time in, and you start out at, a lower level, and you work your way up. And it doesn't always happen overnight. But today, the kids want what we have now. And they don't want to work for it, they just want to have it. And God is saying, no, it'll come in due time. Well, it's time, they say. No, I say it's not due. Because if it was, God would be working it out. But, people think it should be, and God says you're not ready. And a lot of the challenge is we're carrying too many things. Now, it's not that we haven't talked about this before, but we carry so much on our shoulders, and in our hearts, in our minds, are troubled greatly. And we're overwhelmed and overrun by anxieties, by worries, by fears, by concerns, by confusion, doubt, that it's all coming at us because we're letting it. We have to take a stand against it. And we have to determine and decide that no, we are not going to receive it, we're not going to walk in it. Like I was writing this week in a number of the dailies on the internet that, we have a choice. We can choose to do this or not do it. And we're choosing to walk in these anxieties and fears and worries and concerns. And God's saying, look, I went to the cross for all those, so you need not carry them. Give them to me. And that's why he says, cast the whole of your care. He doesn't say part of it. He doesn't say some of it. He doesn't say, okay, give me a little and then take it back. He says, cast it, all of it, completely, totally, absolutely, positively on me. And then you won't have to be concerned with it. And you won't be trying to carry it because you weren't made to carry it. We're not made to carry those things. But unless we give them up and release them to Him, they can do a number on us. And it can emotionally, it can destroy us, make us distraught. Physically, it can just cause all kinds of physical ailments. And, you know, it's a matter of this one simple decision that we give it all to Him. And it's like, I asked God once, I said, God, why don't people give you all these things? And He said, because they don't think I can handle them right. It kind of hit me, like, whoa, you're the God of everything and they don't think you can handle it? He says, well, obviously they must because they keep taking it back. And I'm like, yep, you're right, sir, you know. And understanding, like it says in the second part of the verse, for He cares for you affectionately and cares about you watchfully. The eyes of the Lord wander about the earth and, you know, look for those, His children, who walk in righteousness, who follow after Him in a right way. But He's watching for us. Why is He watching? He didn't forget where we were. He's seen how we're acting. He's seen how we're living. He's like, hey, come on, do it this way, not that way. But He cares so much for us. It's like one time He told me a long time ago, if I was to give you one drop of my love, it is so intense, you'd be gone. It totally disintegrates you because it's that strong. My love is far greater, He said, than you can imagine. So if He cares for us and He loves us that much and He's watching for us, He's watching to see that we don't get in trouble, and He's watching to see that we don't follow the wrong path all the way wrong. But He continues in verse 8, be well balanced. Wouldn't that be wonderful today? To have a whole bunch of well-balanced people around us. Huh? Yeah, they're balanced, but it's tilting the wrong way, huh? But well-balanced, temperate, sober of mind. And I was reading that to somebody, but I don't drink. Boy, did you miss that, I said. Sober of mind. You're to have a right balance. You're to have a clean, a pure, a secure mind in the Lord. And if you have that, you're going to be a whole different person because you won't be weighed down, burdened, and walking under the pressure of all the other cares, worries, and anxieties that you weren't meant to carry in the first place. And, you know, but how do we do that? How do we become that? He gives us clear instructions. Be vigilant, it continues, and cautious at all times. Be vigilant means to me be constantly, consistent, directly determined, and that you are staying lined up with the Lord. And you're not going to let anything get you off. And be cautious means you're always on the alert because the devil's always seeking ways and opportunities to tear us down or to get in there to press our hot button. You know that one that goes off all the time, gets you going? Okay? So if we're being cautious and we're being vigilant, that's starting to go in the right direction. And he says this all times, not once in a while. Oh, I did my cautious thing this year, the rest of the year, watch out. No, it's not the way it's supposed to be. We're to be cautious and vigilant at all times. Why? Because it says, for the enemy of yours, the devil, roams around like a lion roaring in fierce hunger. What's he hungry for? You and I.
Yep.
He wants to get us away from God. And if he can get us all bent out of shape, he won. But God says, no, be vigilant, sober, temperate, well balanced, then you won't be having that challenge. You know, we can be overwrought with this whole fairness doctrine. Life's not fair. This is just the truth. Life is not fair. It never will be. But if we look to the Lord, he can bring in more balance and fairness if we're looking to him instead of everything else. You know, I've told you this story many times. When I was in college, and we go to the dining hall, everybody be talking and everything else. And there was always one, they had poles down the middle of the aisle. Ding dong that designed it wasn't too smart, but anyway, they had these poles, and somebody was walking around talking, and bam, they crashed into one of those poles, and it sounded like a watermelon hitting the thing. This loud clunk, you know, and well, that's what we're doing. We're not watching where we're going, and we're walking into things, and we say, "Why'd you let that happen, God?" Wasn't his fault. We weren't watching where we were going. We were not being vigilant. We weren't cautious. We were letting the devil get the edge. See, he's always seeking someone to seize upon and to destroy. And so we have to have peace in our hearts. Yes, there will be battles. Yes, there will be contention. Yes, there will be all kinds of things going on. But if we stay in peace, that's going to kind of spoil the whole thing. You know, it's going to be those waves will calm down. You know, it'll be more peaceful. We don't want to be going the way opposite of God. We want to be going the way of God. And in Ephesians 4:29, this is the result of letting all that other stuff happen. Okay? And here again, this all starts with a decision that we make or we don't make. The decision we're making is we let it happen. The decision we're supposed to make is not to let it happen. Let starts out with permissive verb. Let no foul or polluting language, nor evil word, nor unwholesome or worthless talk ever come out of your mouth. Okay, we don't have to raise hands because we'd all put our hands up, right? We've all done it, all right?
Amen.
But God says, don't do it. We're to stop it. We're to keep it right and in order if we're vigilant and cautious. If we're looking to him, we're abiding in him in peace, that will make the difference. What are we supposed to do instead? But only such speech as is good and beneficial to the spiritual progress of others. Oh yes, and the conversations we had today were for the spiritual edification of everyone, right? Oh, I don't think so. When that guy cut you off, or that woman, yes, you were spiritually edifying them, right? You were sharing wonderful words of love. No, let's be honest, you know, but we shouldn't have to do that. And it's easy to, because it doesn't go through the thinking machine. It just comes out of the gut. You know? Barbara had somewhat of an example last night with Nadi. She had a reaction, you mind? She had a reaction to blueberries. And she managed to have a whole bunch of poop come out. And then she decided to grab it. So she had hands full. And so poor Barbara's trying to pick her up, and she's sharing that with her. Well, that's a really good example, because that's sometimes what we do with other people.
Amen.
We're sharing the poop.